right, the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to teach you some words that we are going to be reading in our new book today. Somebody loves you, Mr. Hatch.
Mend.
Mend. So to mend something is to prepare, like you sew. Like if you rip a hole in your shirt, you can ask your mom or your dad to mend it. If you don't know it, you can sound it out.
Supervisor.
Super what? Supervisor. Supervisor. So a supervisor is a person who looks after someone or something.
Yeah.
A supervisor can be another word for boss. So who do you think the boss is here at her work? Who runs over everything? Mr. Kerrigan. He's our principal. So he's the boss who runs over all the teachers and who runs over all the students. So he's our supervisor. Point of view is who is telling the story. First person point of view is that the story is being told by one of the characters. You're looking for keywords like I, we, me, ours, or us. And third person is when the narrator tells a story. Do you know what a narrator is?
Narrator. The narrator is the guy who tells the story.
He's a guy who tells the story. Is he part of the story?
No.
No, he just tells the story. Can I use you an example?
Yeah.
All right, Holden, after school, went home to his mom and dad, and his dad got him to do a bunch of chores. So once he was really good, he went to get Pokemon. So who was telling the story in this case?
Me. Dad. My dad.
Your dad?
Miss Graham.
Not exactly. I was telling the story. So if I was telling the story, but I wasn't part of it, who would I be?
Narrator.
The narrator. I'm not part of the story.
Narrator, yes.
And I'm telling your story.
Yes, you know.
Yeah, so I would be talking in third person. So can he do it?
Yes, it.
Can he do it? They are coming around the turn.
Yeah.
So far, what keywords are we using? What point of view keywords are we using? Are we using first person? Are we using I, we, me, or ours, or us? No, so it wouldn't be first person. So can he do it? They're coming around the turn. What point of view would it be? So if our narrator or our sports guy is announcing what the race car drivers are doing, who would the sportscaster be in this case? Yeah. The sportscaster is the guy who's telling the audience what the drivers are doing. Yes. So can he do it? They're coming around the turn. Yes. So if he's telling the story about what the race car drivers are doing, who would he be? Who would he be? If he's telling the story but he's not part of the story. He's not driving on the racetrack. He's not part of the story. Who would he be?
The race car man.
Not exactly. He's not part of the story. So who would he be if he's just telling the story?
The narrator.
The narrator. So it would be in third person. You're right, because he's using keywords like can he do it?
Yep.
They're coming around the turn. So look, what's our keyword?
Mine.
My stomach doesn't feel so good. So my stomach doesn't feel so good. I'm so nervous. So I is another one of our keywords.
Yeah, I.
So what point of view are we using? Well, first of all, what is our story being told by?
Narrator.
Not really. So we're looking out of the window, out of one of the drivers. Looking at the point of view, like I'm so nervous.
The guy talking.
The guy talking. So where is he? He's inside of the race car.
It's
So would he be one of the? What would he be if he was inside of and he's about to race? Who would he be?
The guy, the racer.
The racer. He'd be a racer. Can somebody help me?
Me, yes, me.
Yeah. So we're still looking at one of the point of views.
The racer was saying me.
Because he's nervous. He doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
We're looking at the point of view of how he's feeling throughout the stories. All right. So now that we know our points of view, we're gonna use it to tell our story. All right. So while we're reading, I want you to focus on what we've learned during our point of view, and I want you to follow these steps. We're gonna read the passage, cross out the dialogue, which is spoken words and inner thoughts, and we are gonna focus on our pronouns. So right away, do you know what pronouns we're using? So So Mr. Hatch.
Wait, I think I can see it.
You can see it?
He.
You want he? Do you remember what? Do you know what
Yes.
pronouns we're using? So
He,
he is
she,
what
they.
he, she, they. So what point of view would that be in? So right away, what's our point of view? Who's telling the third? So who's telling the story?
The
So who's is
the narrator.
the narrator? The narrator is telling Mr. Hatch's story. Mr. Hatch was tall and thin, and he did not smile. So we're seeing Mr. Hatch's story from the narrator's point of view. You're right. How would you describe Mr. Hatch's life? He does the same thing every day. He wakes up every day at 6:30 in the morning. He would go to work. He would have the same thing for lunch, having a cheese and mustard sandwich. He'd go to the same 2 stops, to the newsstand and over to the grocery store, and then he'd just go to bed. How would you think that life would be? Just doing the same thing over and over again. It'd be terrible. Nothing exciting would happen. It would be boring, right? What would you think if you randomly got a heart-shaped box full of candy that said, "Somebody loves you"?
I would just probably feel, so happy with happy
You
tears.
feel so happy. So how do you think Mr.
Yes.
Hatch would feel?
Yes, with happy tears.
He'd have happy tears. He'd feel so happy, right?
Yeah.
So Mr. Hatch had never laughed. Can you imagine never laughing in your life? How would you feel if you never laughed in your life?
I just probably feel my best.
Yeah, you wouldn't feel your best. So why do you think laughing would be a good thing?
Because
Why is it a good thing to laugh every day?
it keeps you happy.
It keeps you happy. So if he never laughed, that means that he's happy. So we all have to laugh every once in a while because it keeps us happy. What was one thing that changed about Mr. Hatch? What did he do at the newsstand?
He got a piece of paper and he felt happy.
What did he ask for?
To have a job at the stand.
Yeah, and what else did he do? Because Mr. Smith wasn't feeling very good, so what did he offer to do?
He asked him on the stand about him.
Yeah. Did he do that before?
Yeah.
I don't think he did. He just got the newspaper and left. He did that every day.
Yeah.
So was that different?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it wasn't like Mr. Hatch to do something so nice for him, right? Why do you think Mr. Hatch was sad?
Because that hot-shaped box was for somebody else.
It was for somebody else, so it got delivered to the wrong address. Everybody loves Mr. Hatch. So why do you think they did this for him?
To make Mr. Hatch feel happy.
Yeah, because he made them feel happy. How did he make them feel happy? Do you remember what he did with them?
Yes, I do.
He helped them, right? How did he help them? Was
They're
it?
making brownies and throwing picnics or
Yeah.
brownies.
And how do you think they felt when Mr. Hatch kept on helping them?
They got a surprise for them.
Yeah. So when he helped them, how'd they feel? They felt happy, right?
Yeah.
And when Mr. Hatch was sad, they wanted to help him. They want him to feel happy too. On a little comprehension check. So I want you to fill in the blanks. So I used a sentence frame for you. So all you have to do is fill in the blanks from what we have learned today. Remember we were talking about point of view and what this book was? So I want you to remember what point of view this book was, because that's what we were talking about, right? And I'm going to use this frame. This book uses blank point of view because blank is telling the story. What's our first word? Mend. Mend. Mend is to repair.
So
So if you needed to mend a button that came loose from your sweater, what would you do?
you fix it.
You fix it. How would you fix it?
By
Tying it, like, if your mom was able to, like, find a button on your sweater, what would she do?
She'll fix it.
She would fix it. Yeah, she would put it back by sewing it on. Set it up.
Realize.
Recall.
To remember.
To remember. I want you to recall your favorite memory and tell me about it.
My favorite memory is going to places with my dad.
Oh, that's a really fun memory. You love going to
Yes.
places with your dad, don't you?
Because it keeps me happy for
Do you remember what point of view our story is in? So look at our point of view. Right from the first sentence, we remember that we saw, when we pay attention to point of view, we read And we don't focus on the dialogue, which is our spoken words and inner thoughts, even though our characters are speaking, and we focus on the pronouns. So, let's read. Mr. Hatch was tall and thin, and he did not smile. So, Mr. Hatch, do you know what pronouns we're using so far? Remember the keywords that we had? So what pronouns do we have? So first of all, who's this book about?
Mr. Hatch.
Yeah, Mr. Hatch. Is Mr. Hatch telling the story?
The narrator is.
Yeah, the narrator is telling your story, because if Mr. Hatch was telling the story, it's saying, I am tall and thin and I did not smile. If Mr. Hatch is telling the story, it'd be in first person.
Yeah.
But if the narrator was telling the person, it would be in
Be third.
third person. Because look, Mr. Hatch. Someone is talking about Mr. Hatch. If Mr. Hatch is talking about himself, it wouldn't say Mr. Hatch. So we remember that our book is in third person. So we're going to be questioning a character's point of view. So we're going to be focusing on the character that this story is about, or what the narrator is telling us about, or telling the reader about. So in this case, who is our book about?
Mr. Hatch.
Mr. Hatch. So we're going to be focusing on Mr. Hatch, and we're going to be focusing on these questions. So how does the character feel, and then how do we know? And then what is their reaction to an event? How does the character feel after he received the Valentine's Day box? Or received the serious box that said, somebody loves you. But he didn't know who it's from.
Happy.
He feels happy. So if someone sent you a Valentine like that,
Yes.
you'd feel really happy, just like how Mr. Hatch is feeling?
Yeah.
Ooh, that brings me to our next question.
Yeah.
So we know that Mr. Hatch feels happy, and we know it's because he received our Valentine, and that he laughed, and he danced, and he smiled, and he did something. Those are things that he's never done before. What changes in their actions after he's received the Valentine? What did he do that shocked everyone? He did the same thing. He went to work, but what did he do at work? What did he do with the chocolates at work?
He shared it with the other people.
Yeah. And when he went to the newsstand, how did he help Mr. Smith?
By watching the newspaper said when he went to the doctor.
Yes, exactly. And then he helped in making brownies and lemonade for all the people in the shoelace factory. And he held a party. So how did you think it made people feel?
He made them happy.
He made them happy. Why did you think he wanted to make them happy?
Because someone sent him a Valentine.
So someone sent him a Valentine? So remember when you told me a couple minutes ago that when someone sent you a Valentine, how do you feel?
I just get happy, tears.
You get happy. Because everything changed once he learned how to smile and laugh, because he knows that somebody loves him after giving him a Valentine. What did he want to do to everyone else in return? He helped them, kind of like how you do every morning when you give out the PBIS tickets. And then he wanted to make them feel the same way he did when someone did something nice for them. And how does that make them feel?
He made everyone happy.
He made everyone happy. Probably thought he would find this Valentine, and he wanted to do something nice to whoever it might be. So what did he do? He offered to have a party in his backyard and be nice to everyone and make everyone happy. That's really good. So what did the townspeople feel once they realized that Mr. Hatch is sad?
They felt happy. They felt that they wanted to help them make them feel better.
They wanted to help them make them feel better. Hatch. Ooh, this is an important part. Everybody loves Mr. Hatch. So, after receiving the Valentine, Mr. Hatch believed that somebody, he didn't know who, loved him.
Yeah.
So he did all these nice things for everyone,
Yeah.
in case it could be that mysterious person who gave him that Valentine.
Yeah.
And once he realized it was to the wrong address, he believed nobody loved him. But what happened after doing all of these acts?
And they'll have a surprise party.
By throwing a surprise party, what did that prove?
Happy again.
Yeah. It doesn't mean that somebody in particular loves him. It means that that everyone wanted to show that everyone loved him.
Yeah.
Everyone loved him in that time because of everything that he did to show that he loved them.
Oh, yeah.
And they wanted to do the same thing. So when you give love, if you were going to do something really nice for me or Miss Weitzel, if you did something nice like you would give me love, I would give you love in return. And that's exactly what they did, right? He showed that he loved them, and what did they do? After
They
felt like
showed
nobody
that they
loved him.
love Mr. Hatch.
Yes, exactly. Let's go over vocabulary. So, what is our first word? Do you remember our first word?
Repair. Can I repair your pants?
Repair. So, what's our word?
Mend.
Mend. Mend is to repair. Yes.
Mend to repair.
All right. What's our next word?
Supervisor.
Supervisor. Oh my goodness. A supervisor is a person who looks after something or someone. So Mr. Kerrigan looks over all the teachers. He's the teacher's boss. Mr. Hat. So what did we describe the mood or the feeling in the beginning?
He was told that he did not smile.
He did not
Earlier
smile.
in the day, he soloed cheese and Mr. Surge. I bring him a cup of coffee.
Nice.
Sometimes he brought food for dessert. And when he read the newspaper, took a shower, and went to bed.
So he did the same thing every day. How do you think he felt about that?
Sad.
He felt sad. So why was Mr. Hatch sad when he realized the Valentine wasn't for him?
Because it was at the wrong address and he didn't look at the address. It was one. His address was 1, 2, 3.
Right.
Yeah, and he goes his cheese and Mr.
So it was.
He grabbed the newspaper, took a shower, went to bed, and then he sat on the floor. He was cheese and Mr. Surge, drinking a cup.
Yeah, so he went back to doing the same thing. So remember how he was feeling in the beginning when he did those things? So how do you think he feels now? Yeah. All right. There are 2 more things we have to do, and then that'll be it. So this is where you're gonna need your pencil.
Hey, where's
So first thing, we have 2 worksheets we're gonna do. So you can complete these in any order. For this one, you're gonna circle the answer that works real best with this question. I can help read the questions if you want. And then for this one, you're gonna choose one of these words for each sentence, and you're only gonna use the word once. And once you're done using that word, you're gonna cross it off. That way you don't have to use it. In the beginning of the book, Mr. Hatch loved having tons of variety in his meals, which means that he wanted to have different things for every meal every day. Is that A, true, or B, false?